we'll get to. I'll start off with this artist, Marvin Gaye.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna start off with Marvin Gaye, one of the best voices of all time. Marvin Gaye, no, not the third. Sorry, Google screwed that up. Marvin Gaye. He was a rule breaker. I will give him that because there's been at first. I loved him so much in the early in the 60s when he did Ain't a Mountain High Enough. He was singing How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. He was singing a bunch of like Motown pop hits for the most part, and whatnot. He a brilliant artist. But however, he changed in 1973, and this is very relevant to today, especially for Black History Month, if those of you are wondering. Marvin Gaye wrote a song called What's Going On.
Oh, one of my favorite songs, by the way.
I love it too. It's a fantastic song. Marvin Gaye wrote a song called What's Going On, and the album is fantastic. If you have not heard this record, stop listening to us right now and get on this now.
This will be on YouTube later. Go listen to Marvin Gaye.
Yes. Marvin Gaye is brilliant. Unfortunately he was assassinated and shot in the 80s, which was he left us way
by his own father too.
I know.
That's scary. That is a horrifying story.
That's a horrifying, scary thought. But the guy pioneered so much. The story goes that when Marvin Gaye was putting out What's Going On in 1973, he made this record. At the time, Motown was not political. Motown was not at all, because the Vietnam War was going on. There was a lot of stuff happening in the United States, and Marvin Gaye, truthfully, made a protest record. That's what this run is. He turned. We're bringing off the image here. He turned worry into faith. Marvin Gaye's What's Going On is a pivotal album in American history. Truthfully, 1973. So the old story goes that Marvin says to Barry Gordy says, if we're gonna put out What's Going On, here's the thing. They make a deal. They say, I was watching this documentary about this once. It's really interesting. How they said how we're gonna put out What's Going On. If Marvin, this is Barry saying to Marvin, if Marvin's like, if you're right, I'll learn something, and if I'm right, you'll learn something. And as Barry Gordy will say to this day, I learned something about that record. This record is a pioneering, like, seminal album in the world of talking about people of color, about race, about injustice in the world. And it's without getting political. We're not getting political on this show. But I want to
say this about that song now.
Go ahead, really quick.
You know what I call that song?
What?
The official anthem of 2020.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that
because what was happening with COVID and all the racial injustice, I literally just remember. I remember just playing that song, and that song is still relevant today as it was 40-something years ago.
I mean, more than 40, maybe 45 or 50.
No, next year that song's going to be 50 years old.
That's frightening.
Like that song is still relevant today as it was almost 50 years ago.
I agree, buddy. I agree. So, anyways, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Check it out.
Like, because the first line of the song, "Mother, mother, there are far many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far many of you dying."
Yeah. So it's. I don't want to get too into it, but Marvin Gaye was a pioneer. If you haven't listened to Marvin Gaye, get on it. Let's Get It On is a great song too. Let's get it on. We all know what that's about.
I've been really trying, baby. Well, because folks, Valentine's Day is coming up. That's a special song you can play for all the ladies out there.
For all you happy couples out there, just put on Let's Get It On and see what happens. That's crazy. Marvin Gaye, fantastic, all-time great singer, composer, writer, etc., etc. Fantastic guy.